have seen the pain that has lived quietly within you. I have watched the days when your heart felt too heavy to lift, when you smiled to hide the ache that no one else could see. You have lost much, pieces of yourself, moments you cannot replace, people you never thought you would live without. Yet even in your loss, I have been near. You were never walking through the ruins alone. When you wept, I counted every tear. When you broke, I gathered every fragment. When you whispered, "Lord, why?" I leaned closer to remind you that I was not gone. The silence you felt was not absence, it was preparation. The delay you saw was not denial, it was design. There were things you could not carry into your future, and so I allowed certain chapters to close. You did not lose them because you were unworthy. You lost them because I was making room for what was greater. I had to strip away the things that weakened your foundation, so that what I build now will never fall again. The nights you thought would never end are now shifting. The dawn of restoration is rising over you. You are not standing in the ashes of defeat, you are standing in the soil of renewal. What was once buried is not gone forever. I am breathing life into it again. Every seed you planted in tears will now bloom in joy. Every why you asked in the dark will soon become a thank you whispered in light. You thought you lost time, opportunities, relationships, dreams, but I am the Redeemer of time. I restore not only what was taken, but what was broken within you. You looked at your past and thought it was wasted, but I say to you now, nothing was wasted. Every loss has purpose, every pain has instruction, every silence has meaning. I was shaping your endurance, building your faith, and maturing your spirit for the glory that now draws near. I am not only restoring what you had, I am restoring who you are. I am healing your confidence, reviving your peace, awakening your joy. I am removing the shadow of disappointment that tried to settle upon your heart. You will not live in bitterness. You will rise in beauty. The enemy thought he destroyed your hope, but your hope was never built on what you lost. It was built on me, and I cannot be shaken. You may have walked through fire, but you will not smell of smoke. You may have been pressed, but you were not crushed. Every scar will soon become a sign, not of pain, but of purpose. I am restoring your strength. I am restoring your laughter. I am restoring your purpose. What was once broken will now shine brighter than before. The same storm that tried to end you will be the testimony that announces your beginning. Do not look back with sorrow, my child. Look ahead with expectation. For the same hands that allowed loss are now writing restoration. I am rewriting your story with grace, turning mourning into movement, ashes into beauty, emptiness into overflow. You will not chase what was lost. What is yours will find you. You will not beg for love. I will send those who see your worth. You will not search for opportunities. I will place you in rooms where your name has already been spoken in honor. You thought certain seasons ended without closure, but I tell you, nothing ends without my signature. Every ending carries a hidden beginning. Every loss contains a seed of renewal. I am not only giving back what was taken, I am multiplying it. Your finances will recover. Your relationships will heal. Your spirit will rest. Your home will feel like peace again. The weight that lingered over you will lift. The confusion that clouded you will clear. For I, the Lord your Redeemer, am making all things new. Do not measure restoration by what your eyes can see. Measure it by what your heart can feel. The first sign of restoration is not visible change, it is inner peace. When you feel calm returning, when hope begins to breathe again, know that restoration has already begun. Stay faithful, even when the fruit is unseen. Continue to trust me, even when the soil still looks dry, for I am watering the seeds beneath the surface. What you thought was over is quietly being reborn. The time of sorrow is ending. The season of renewal is beginning. My child, when I promise restoration, I do not return things to how they were. I make them better than they have ever been. My restoration is not replacement. It is resurrection. What I touch does not come back ordinary. It comes back transformed. You once prayed for me to give back what you lost. But now you will thank me for giving you something greater. You were focused on what was taken, but I was focused on what was being prepared. You saw emptiness, but I saw foundation. You saw pain, but I saw purpose. I know the nights when you asked, "Why did you allow this?" And I heard every question wrapped in tears. I did not ignore you. I was working in silence, weaving threads of grace into the very places you thought were ruined. Every closed door was divine protection. Every delay was divine redirection. Every loss was divine preparation. You were not being punished. You were being positioned. The world saw loss, but heaven saw growth. The world saw endings, but I saw beginnings. The world saw what was taken, but I saw what was coming. Now I am releasing what was stored for you. The blessings that were delayed are now aligning with divine timing. The prayers you thought I forgot were never lost in the wind. They were planted in my time. You are stepping into a season of divine recovery, where everything that seemed gone will return with increase. The years you thought were wasted will yield double fruit. The relationships that ended in pain will be replaced by ones filled with peace. The opportunities that slipped through your fingers will come back wrapped in favor. For what I restore, I multiply. Do not rush this process. Restoration is not always loud. Sometimes it begins in the stillness of peace. Sometimes I first restore your faith before I restore your fortune. Sometimes I heal your heart before I heal your home. Sometimes I rebuild your trust before I rebuild your tribe. Trust the order of my restoration. What is coming will make sense of what you lost. What is ahead will redeem what you endured. You will stand one day and say, "If I had not lost what I did, I would not have found who I am." You will see now that loss was not me taking, it was me trading. Trading your pain for purpose. Trading your confusion for clarity. Trading your emptiness for abundance. I am restoring not only your possessions, but your perception. You will no longer see yourself as broken. You will see yourself as chosen. The very wounds that once made you feel weak will become the doors through which others find healing. My restoration does not come to prove the enemy wrong. It comes to prove my faithfulness right. What you lost was temporary. What I'm giving you is eternal. You will walk into rooms that once rejected you and find yourself celebrated. You will return to places that once hurt you and find peace instead of pain. You will speak of the season that broke you and smile, not because it was easy, but because you survived it with me. My child, I am restoring the years that were stolen, the joy that was buried, the faith that was shaken, the dreams that were forgotten, the courage that was lost along the way. You will laugh again, without fear. You will love again, without walls. You will trust again, without hesitation. You will rise again, without doubt. When I restore fully. No piece of you will remain missing. No wound will remain open. No promise will remain empty. My spirit is breathing upon every dry place in your life. I am commanding the lifeless things to rise again. I am turning your sorrow into songs of joy. I am exchanging your ashes for a crown of beauty. The time has come. The waiting is over. The restoration begins now. You are not behind. You are right on time. You are not forgotten. You are favored. You are not broken. You are being built. And soon, the world will see what I have been forming in secret, the masterpiece that came from your pain. My beloved child, there is a process to my promise. Restoration is not sudden chaos. It is sacred order. While you were looking for immediate answers, I was arranging eternal outcomes. What you saw as delay was actually divine precision. You must understand, I am not a god of confusion, but of perfect timing. Every piece of your journey, the pain, the pause, the pruning, was part of my design. You saw seasons ending and thought it was destruction. But I was removing what could not remain where I was leading you. I did not forget you when you were broken. I was watching you become unbreakable. I did not abandon you when you felt empty. I was teaching you what fullness truly means. I did not reject you when you felt alone. I was drawing you closer to me. You prayed for quick answers, but I was preparing deep roots. You wanted a miracle, but I was forming maturity. For what I build in you is always greater than what I give to you. Restoration begins in the unseen, in the soil of your soul. When a seed is buried, it looks dead, but it is only beginning to grow. Likewise, when I hid you, it was not to punish you, but to prepare you. I hid you in the waiting. I covered you in the quiet. I protected you in the pause, because what I am building in you requires stillness. The world rushes, but my kingdom moves with purpose. The world seeks speed, but I seek strength. The world praises visibility, but I value depth. Every hidden season was holy. Every silent prayer was sacred. Every unnoticed act of faith was seen by heaven. You thought nothing was changing, but I was changing you. You thought the story was ending, but I was turning the page. You thought I was far, but I was closer than your breath. Restoration is not about replacing what was lost. It is about revealing who you have become through loss. When I restore, I do not give back the same. I give back the refined. You have been refined through fire, shaped through sorrow, and strengthened through surrender. This is why you can no longer fit into the spaces that once confined you. This is why certain people drifted away. They were not removed out of cruelty, but out of mercy. This is why certain dreams fell apart. Not to end your purpose, but to align you with my plan. You see, my process often begins with subtraction before multiplication. I prune before I bloom. I empty before I fill. I silence before I speak. But what follows is always fullness, always abundance, always beauty from ashes. When you were waiting and saw no progress, I was building character. When you were hurting and saw no reason, I was planting purpose. When you were praying and heard no answer, I was teaching you to hear my whisper. You cannot rush what I am perfecting. Every step of this process carries my fingerprints, even the painful ones. When you felt overlooked, I was watching you endure with grace. When you felt small, I was shaping your humility. When you felt forgotten, I was writing your comeback. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was lost. Nothing was random. The pain that tried to break you became the fire that purified you. The people who walked away made space for those I have called to walk beside you. The doors that closed redirected you to greater ones that I have unlocked. And now, my process is nearing completion. You are entering the moment where what I have built in private will manifest in public. The strength you gained in silence will speak loudly through your testimony. The tears you sowed in pain will be reaped as joy. So do not despise the slow work of restoration. Even when you see no progress, the roots are deepening. Even when the branches look bare, new life is forming. Even when the storm rages, the soil is being renewed. You are not waiting for me to move. I have already begun. The process that once felt endless is now shifting into fulfillment. Soon you will look back and see that every unanswered prayer was a blessing in disguise. 4. My ways are higher than your ways. My timing is perfect, and my process, though hidden, is holy. My beloved child, the season of return is here. What was once lost in sorrow is now returning in strength. What slipped through your fingers in weakness is now being placed back into your hands with wisdom. I have seen the long nights when you whispered, "Will it ever change?" I have counted the days when you tried to believe, even when your heart was tired. And I say to you now, the tide is turning. The same fields that once stood barren will soon overflow with fruit. The same hands that once trembled with pain will now lift in praise. The same heart that once carried disappointment will now carry destiny. For I am the Lord of restoration, and I never return empty. When I restore, I do not simply give back what was lost. I release what was promised. You will see old prayers answered in new ways. You will see long battles turn into sudden breakthroughs. You will see the closed doors swing open with ease, because they were never truly locked. They were simply waiting for my timing. Do not fear the change that is coming. It is the very change you prayed for. You asked me to renew you, and renewal requires release. You asked me to lift you, and lifting requires letting go. You will receive the perfected version of what you were meant to have all along. For my restoration brings not replicas, but revelations. You lost friends. I will send covenant companions. You lost peace. I will give you divine stillness. You lost direction. I will place my spirit within you as a compass. You lost moments. I will redeem your time and make your next season fruitful beyond measure. The enemy thought he could scatter your blessings, but I have gathered them in heavenly storehouses. Now I release them, not as single drops, but as an outpouring. The rain of restoration will not be light. It will be abundant. It will reach into every area of your life, spirit, mind, body, home, and calling. What was silent will sing again. What was empty will overflow again. What was dead will live again. Your dreams that lay in the dust will rise. Your joy that hid behind grief will reappear. Your faith that flickered in darkness will burn bright again. This is not coincidence. This is completion. This is not recovery. This is resurrection. This is not luck. This is my love fulfilling its promise. Do you feel the shift, my child? The air around you is changing because your atmosphere is aligning with heaven's decree. The things that once resisted you are now releasing you. The places that once rejected you will now receive you. Because I have gone before you. I have prepared the path. I have touched hearts in your favor. Bree, I have whispered your name into opportunities that you have not even seen yet. Soon, your story will change tone. What was once a tale of loss will become a testimony of restoration. What once broke you will now bless you. What once emptied you will now empower you. Do not be surprised when peace feels unfamiliar. You have been at war for so long that calm will seem strange. But do not resist it. It is my gift. Bree, do not fear when new doors open quickly. You have waited long enough. Do not doubt when blessings come suddenly. This is what delayed seasons were preparing you for. You will stand in awe and say, "This could only be God." Yes, it will be me. The same God who saw you cry in secret, now lifting you in public. The same God who watched you break, now blessing you beyond your asking. The same God who allowed you to walk through loss, now walking you into restoration. My child, I am not only restoring what was taken, I am renewing what was tired. Bree, you will no longer live in survival mode. You will live in sacred abundance. You will not fight the same battles. You will walk in new victories. You will not beg for peace. You will dwell in it. For the time of restoration has come. The season of divine return is now. Period. My beloved child, the time you've waited for has finally arrived. The storm that once defined your nights will now bow to the sunrise of your restoration. The pain that once ruled your heart will soon be nothing but proof that you survived what was meant to destroy you. You thought you had reached the end, but it was never the end. It was the threshold. Every closed door, every delay, every disappointment was heaven's preparation for this moment. You are standing on the soil of fulfillment, and it is holy ground. I am restoring not only what you lost, I am redeeming what was stolen, healing what was broken, and multiplying what was small. What you thought was over, I am resurrecting. What you thought was wasted, I am weaving into purpose. What you thought was forgotten, I have written into eternity. You will not walk with the same weight anymore. Your soul will breathe again. The heaviness that followed you will fall away because joy is returning, not as a visitor, but as a permanent resident in your life. The people who saw you weep will soon see you worship. The ones who doubted your faith will soon witness your favor. And you, my beloved, will finally understand why the journey had to take so long. I was not delaying you. I was developing you. I was not punishing you. I was positioning you. I was not ignoring you. I was interceding for you. When you were too tired to pray, my spirit was praying through you. When you were too broken to believe, my mercy was believing for you. And now, all the pieces that once felt shattered will fit together in ways that only heaven could design. You are about to see divine justice. The wrongs that wounded you will become the very proof of my righteousness. The places where you were overlooked will now become platforms of influence. The tables that rejected you will now call your name with honor. For I am a God, restores double. Double for your shame, double for your loss, double for your delay. You will reap what you sowed in tears, but you will also reap what you sowed in faith, in kindness, in quiet endurance. Every silent yes to obedience became a seed in my garden of promise, and now the harvest is ripe. You have been faithful over little. Now I will trust you with much. Do not fear success when it comes. Bree, you are not rising to boast, you are rising to bless. You will be a carrier of my abundance, not a prisoner of it. The blessings I give you will not replace me, they will reflect me. P. I am giving you influence, not to make you known, but to make my name known through you. I am giving you resources, not to build your comfort, but to build my kingdom. I am giving you peace, not so you can rest in silence, but so you can speak with strength. P. My child, the reward you are stepping into is not temporary. It is eternal. It is generational. It will echo through those you touch, through the words you speak, through the hearts you heal. What I am doing in you now will outlive you. Your obedience is birthing legacy. Your faith is planting trees that your children will rest under. Your story will become a testimony that ignites the faith of nations. You will tell others, I lost everything, and then God restored it all. And they will believe again. They will hope again. They will turn their eyes to me again. This is why your battle was so fierce. Because your victory carries purpose. The enemy knew what I was preparing in you. He tried to break you before your breakthrough. But he failed. Because you stood. You stayed. You believed. And now heaven stands to applaud your endurance. I am placing a crown of peace upon your head and a robe of righteousness upon your shoulders. You will walk not as one barely surviving, but as one fully revived. The light within you will not flicker anymore. It will shine with clarity, conviction, and compassion. You will walk into rooms and peace will follow. You will speak and hearts will heal. You will give and doors will open for others. You will live as a vessel of my faithfulness. Remember, my beloved, the restoration I give is not a return to what was. It is a revelation of what always could be. You will not revisit the past. You will rebuild the future. You will not just recover. You will reign. You will not just receive. You will release. Your life will be a testimony that my promises are not delayed, they are perfectly timed. You will move forward with no fear of the past, no bitterness in your heart, and no doubt in your spirit. For I have declared it, strong, I am restoring everything you lost. Not someday, now, not partly, completely, not symbolically, tangibly. You will see it, you will live it, you will testify of it. And when you do, lift your hands and remember, it was not luck, it was love. It was not coincidence, it was covenant. It was not your strength, it was my grace. Walk now, my child, into the dawn of your restoration. The waiting is over. The weeping is over. The warfare is over. This is your return season. This is your healing hour. This is your divine restoration. I am the God who restores, and I have come for you.